Good Life meditation for the 21st day of July 2025. My name is Kurt. Glad you're here. All right, this is a video that I do every morning about this time to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at the website goingalone.org. Just look for the chapter titled The Good Life. That's actually it. Within the book, there's a whole series of pages, but that's the chapter within the book that constitutes the creed to which I attempt to abide, and for which this video is my daily affirmation and effort. Before I get started, a quick welcome to new subscribers to the channel. Just to note that this is a journal video, so it's all about me, talking about my life. Japan is happening here around me, but that's incidental and only environmental to the story that I'm telling here, which is my own story. So forgive me if I go deep and talk about what are my thoughts, my experiences, and my opinions. I do sometimes say things that make people uncomfortable, but for example, I'll likely talk about death and other things as well, so just another heads up. And then lastly, a big thank you for your support if you watch my videos, and if you are a member on YouTube and or on Patreon. Thank you. Let's get started. The only note that I have from yesterday is this one note, reluctant leader. To explain that, I'll need to couch that in the story of what happened yesterday. It was a good day. It was a Sunday. Emily, our daughter Emily, oh, by the way, if you're new to the channel, I'm a 61-year-old American living here in Shizuoka, Japan, in a house that my wife, she's Japanese, Yumiko is her name. We bought this house about half a year ago after retiring from our careers in Southern California and moving to Japan to settle down for the rest of our lives. We have a daughter, Emily, 24 years old. She has a boyfriend, Tatsuya, also the same age. And they were down visiting over the weekend. It's Monday now. And yesterday was a full day with the four of us, plus sister-in-law Yoko joined us as well. She lives just a few minutes walk down the river. I don't know if you might be able to hear the river in the background. We have this house and in the backyard, and there's a river, and then the in-laws down the river. So that's who we are. That's what we did yesterday. It was a fun day. Height of summer, families together, making a good day of it. We had a great breakfast. We went out to the flea market to do antiquing. We had a good lunch. We then drove into the mountains to go play at the river, had some family fun, made some memories, took photos, had dinner, took a bath, went to bed. It was a good day. So, but that's not what this video is about. This video is not a blow-by-blow of what happens in my life. Nope, that's not what I'm doing here. But, sometimes I do that as well to give context to what I'm talking about. What I'm interested here is, what did I do in all of that? What happened in the course of all of that that was either a challenge to me or an opportunity to me? It's my journal video, in which I either performed exceptionally well, I met the challenge well, or I fell flat on my face. I'm not so interested in the middle ground stuff anymore. If it was just, pedestrian going along and doing fine, then that's fine. I can just let that be. But if I did really well or I did poorly, how did I handle that? As is always the case, I'll come up with one or two notes, but then as I start doing this, which is one of the benefits of doing this and doing it aloud and doing it in public, causes me to go deep and do a comprehensive review, I start to remember things that happen. My note here is reluctant leader, and I'll get to that. But something else came to mind. Remember, if you watch these videos, you know that I have a couple of abiding issues, growing issues, sustaining issues almost, some ways. Sustaining insofar as they give me fuel for these videos every day. Since coming back to Japan and maybe since retiring. I don't know which is the greater influence. Perhaps a good combination of both. One is the fact that my body and mind are beginning to deteriorate quickly. This attends another thing that I call my gross incompetence, which is persistent throughout the day. The only place that I don't feel incompetent, grossly incompetent anymore in my day-to-day is out here on my balcony and in my room. This is really a sweet spot for me in life. I've never in my whole life had a sweet spot quite as sweet as this. So I don't feel that way here. But it doesn't mean that I hide away here and I spend an inordinate amount of time in this space. I spend a lot of time here, but it's no more than I would actually want or think is appropriate for my life objectives at this time. So when I'm out in the field, especially when I'm out with the family, I'm stumbling and failing and making mistakes, struggling the whole day long, literally the whole day long when I'm out. So this isn't about the reluctant leader, but I wanted to just point out a couple of cases of that yesterday. Driving yesterday, not only was I driving, which I can't do very well anymore, I was in the lead car because I knew where we were going, and I don't know my way around anymore. And my sister-in-law Yoko, who's a backseat driver, was in her car in the back, and sometimes she can even do that from another car. There was pressure to get it right, because we're going along, and I didn't get it right. Driving yesterday, I was making mistakes. I was putting us in weird positions, just as I knew that I would. Why am I reporting this? I want to report this because the way that I handled it, I wouldn't call it stellar. It's not like I was handling it stress-free. I was pretty much like, okay, if you're gonna fly economy class from Los Angeles to London, it's a long flight. Or let's make it Los Angeles, or let's make it to Sydney or something like that, even longer still. In economy, you know what you're getting yourself into if you've flown a lot. It's going to be, and you got a middle seat in the middle of the plane, and there's a family next to you. You know what? It isn't going to be a pleasant flight. You shouldn't expect it to be a pleasant flight. But you know what you're getting yourself into. And when I saw the itinerary for the day that I had largely devised, and I knew that I would be in the lead role with the driving, hey, I guess I'm getting into the reluctant leader. I knew what I was getting myself into. And I met that challenge exactly the way that I've met the challenge of riding economy in the middle of the plane from Los Angeles to London. I handled it well. I wasn't comfortable, it wasn't fun, but I handled it well. I didn't arrive in the airplane, like I didn't, when I was a frequent flyer, I didn't arrive at the airplane and see my seat in the middle of the plane and go, dang, make a scene and toss my bags around, or, the kid behind me kicking the seat. I didn't yell or exclaim or anything like that. I just handled it as I would. I handled it in a stoic manner. So again, I didn't solve the problem. I controlled my hashtag response to my hashtag circumstance, the reality, the nature. I don't get to say this one very much. The principle of nature in my book, hashtag nature, says that it is the nature of flying economy on a long distance flight, especially if you're in the middle seat and a family surrounding you, to have a difficult flight, to be uncomfortable, to be put out, to probably arrive more exhausted than when you started, even though you were sitting down for 12 hours. So that's exactly what it was like, driving the family, leading the family around town in my car. It didn't go well, but I did. There's something to put in my pocket. There's a little phrase to remember. The circumstance didn't go well, but I did. Kind of echoes like Stilbo the Stoic, doesn't it? What to Stilbo after the conqueror has destroyed everything? What have you lost? And Stilbo simply responds, "Sir, I have all my goods with me. Yesterday I had all my goods with me, the whole day. No, I didn't, except for some moments of really, really deep exhaustion where I just didn't have the energy. And I kind of turtled up a little bit into myself just to try to, you know, even then, I had all my goods with me. Even then, I handled it well. Yesterday was an exceptionally good day in that capacity. It was an exceptionally good day in every way. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm slurping. I've got to keep the hot water moving. Pardon me. So you can see yesterday, I'm going to upload today's episode of Retiring in Japan, which is my other daily upload. I typically upload 2 videos a day. This live video and then a video called Retiring in Japan, which is a recording of yesterday's life events. That's more of a blow-by-blow. Yesterday was a fun day. So let's get to the point about this reluctant leader. What the heck is that about? Well, I think I've given a hint that yesterday was an active day. It was a family day. I was in a position to drive us around because I came up with the itinerary. I was the one, leading us out into the mountains, into the shrine with Yoko and my wife and her sister in the car behind us. I got the 2 kids. For a while, sometimes I just had Tatsuya and me in the car. Emily kind of floated between. You can kind of see that I kind of had a lead role in this. I came up with the itinerary mostly. I drove the lead car. I made a lot of decisions. Pardon me again. So you're starting to get to the point of where this reluctant leader is. So I'm in a marriage where my wife and I have a pretty strong division of labor. We're pretty equitable in our life decision making. We decide together about things. Yumiko pretty much takes care of the bread and butter of our home. I don't do much of anything around here. I fold laundry, I hang laundry, and I fold laundry at the end of the day. That's pretty much it. But what's expected of me, and what's always been expected of me, is to be the leader in so far as leading the way through the executed and decided activities that we're going to do. I will lead us through that. So I won't decide exactly what the day is, although I often have a strong say in that, maybe an overwhelming say in that, just because nobody else really wants to make the decisions. So I'll mull it over, I'll run it past people, and then I'll decide and make it kind of couch it like everybody decided, and off we go. And then I take charge of the itinerary, just like the project manager I used to be, and I would take the charge of the itinerary. I'll come up with I just realized I've been project managing my family the whole time. I'll work together them. I'll treat the family as stakeholders. I'll treat my wife as a project executive sponsor. And just like I would in my projects back in the States, I would basically come up with the whole damn project, figure out the budget, come up with the schedule, assign the roles, come up with the communication plan, the whole damn thing. And I would run it. And then the executive sponsor would do the sign the checks, right? I just realized that I've been doing this my whole life. I've been a project manager my whole life. So now I can cut to this point. In the States, I played this role where the weekend would come and I would, like a Japanese tour guide with a flag, with a whistle, lead the family through the events, which I was very good at because I'm highly competent in the United States, in my own milieu and paradigm, my home court. Here in Japan, I'm highly incompetent for a lot of reasons, and it just doesn't have to do with language. In fact, I would say that language, I'm incompetent with language, but it's one of the stronger ones. I got complimented over the weekend by my daughter, who only sees me every month or two, and she says, "Dad, your Japanese is really getting good." Because I don't hesitate. I've said this before. I don't mess around. I just go for it. I speak Japanese. I don't let my incompetence, my inability stop me. And I am very, very apt to hold my beer in front of all my family and just do it. So it's not the Japanese, it's the brain. My brain isn't working well anymore. And my body isn't working well anymore. So this is where the incompetence comes from. Nevertheless, I found myself leading the family through all of this, and my incompetence causing me to stumble the whole way through the day. I stumbled at every single turn. It was downright scary driving. And I'm not scary like Freddy Krueger scary. Scary like when I used to be a driving instructor and I would teach people to drive. I would get some teens who were good drivers, but they just didn't have the confidence to make it so that they felt like they were good drivers. That's exactly the position I'm in. I'm still a good driver. I don't have incidents throughout the day where I get in close accidents. That doesn't happen. I get incidents throughout the day where I get lost. Even with the app running, I still get lost, and I make gross mistakes. But it's just this overarching aging. I'm pretty confident that's what it is. And if Tim's out there, Tim might relate. Maybe Evelyn, if you're seeing this as well. The fact of when you shut off retirement, when you stop retiring, it's like stopping going to the gym. And if you go to the gym every day, you know, and you're doing your thing, you can keep your muscle tone, and you kind of don't even notice it anymore if you're consistent on that. Likewise with good eating, etc. All these things. Yet, if you stop for even a day or two going to the gym, immediately the muscle tone begins, especially at age 61, the muscle tone begins to slide. The whole thing starts to go. And I'm confident that that's what's happening in a comprehensive manner now that I've given up work. I think Tim would probably give me a hallelujah if he's seeing this, maybe Evelyn as well. I know I've recently decided that I need to go back to work in some capacity, and I know Evelyn did the same. Some people seem to be able to manage it, others don't. I'm sliding away from the point, though. The point was I was a reluctant leader all day, because my wife still expects me to, this is largely my wife and my daughter, they expect me to play that role. It's not really, I wouldn't call it necessarily a role of leader as much as man of the house. I think that's a really perfect term to describe it. You know, my wife is a Showa woman. I'm a Showa era man. You know, we were raised in that role model situation where there's the woman of the house and the man of the house. And I'm the man of the house. I do the man of the house things, but I'm not very good at it anymore. And I found myself through the day yesterday, I didn't say this to anybody, I'll say it to you. I found myself increasingly thinking to myself, I can't wait, because I kind of envy my father-in-law, because he didn't have to do any of this stuff anymore. He just, we go out to have lunch with him. He just comes in, he gets the nice seat sitting next to the driver's seat, lots of leg room. He just gets to sit there. He doesn't have to pay. He doesn't have to drive. He doesn't have to think about anything. He just has to be there. And I'm increasingly, enviable of that, position in the family. And I kept thinking to myself, this reluctant leader, how much longer is it going to be before I get to be the old Tolson emeritus, right? The old man in the honorary seat, et cetera, et cetera. Got to earn it. Increasingly, my daughter is stepping forward and behaving more adult-like in every circumstance. You know, it used to be that she would come back from these visits. She's been on her own for quite a while now. She would come back from these visits and kick up her heels and go into kid mode for a while. And we understood that that was her break, right? She's getting a break from the hard work of adulting, which is relatively new to her. You know, she's only 24. She's only been out of school for a year. But now she comes down and she does kick up her heels a little bit, but she's more and more taking that lead role, even so far as spending money. Now she's got a good income coming in. She's spending money. She took us out to dinner. Or Tatsuya took us out for dinner. Actually, Tatsuya bought dinner. Emily takes us out. She does stuff. She buys melon pond. She doesn't expect us to buy anything. When we go to the convenience store, she just goes up to the counter, gets her own stuff, and we'll still do it. We're glad to do it. But you see what I'm saying. Reluctant leader. Maybe I should say, change leader to adult, make it a verb. Reluctant adulting. That's a good way to describe it. That's exactly how I feel. And I know it's a bit premature. I'm only 61. I should have a lot of years of continued, first-rate adulting left. So just reporting on that. We'll keep an eye on that. That's not a big deal. Altogether, it was a good day. I kept my reluctant thoughts to myself. And I stepped forward. I was the man of the house all day long. I did good. Yesterday was a great day. I would have to give myself a 4-star day. Why 4 stars? Why not 5? I don't have an explicit reason. It just felt like I could have been tuned a little bit better. No, wow. I really, I was adjusting to everything. Like we got to the river, and there's been heavy rains 2 weeks ago, and I thought that the river would be, water level would be lower. Usually it's crystal clear, just a perfect flow. You can go right out to the middle of the river, lay it on your back, and float down the river. It's great, but it wasn't. It was the waters weren't dark with mud. They were dark with this high mountain. It's kind of like it looks like those clouds back there. It's kind of like um, a haze in the water. You can't see it. And the water was high and it was a little bit dangerous. So we got there and the whole family's like, whoa, whoa, what are we doing? So the reason I'm showing you now, I'm illustrating how I made a quick decision. So I used the hashtag nature. I recognize this is, well, hashtag temperance, hashtag nature. This is the nature of the thing. You know, the river's bigger, nastier than we thought. A hashtag reason to think of other things. I thought, well, we'll stay here, play for a little bit, and come up with a plan B. And I did. I came up with a plan B, and I told the family, let's stay here. Being man of the house, being the reluctant leader, why don't we stay here and enjoy the river a little bit? And then when we're done, I know a place just up the stream where we can drive up there. It's a 3-minute drive up the road, and we can park the car at a temple, walk across a footbridge, and have a nice stroll through the Satoyama countryside. Family went with that. We ended up having a great time by the river, even though it was like I said, it wasn't quite perfect. We had a great time by the river, but then we drove up and did the other thing, which was great. The second thing we did, crossing the river, I am confident that for Emily and Tatsuya, we planted some deep, deep memories that will pay dividends later. I mean, it was a friggin' Ghibli experience, Studio Ghibli experience, and that's a high bar because I'm pretty much living a Studio Ghibli experience all the time now. I mean, if you watch the video, I think there's even a moment where I turn off the road and start driving through the rice fields, through this. There's a temple over here and farmhouses and mountains and the river, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a Ghibli experience, And it really was the whole damn thing. I'm confident that long after my wife and I are dead and ashes and gone, Emily's going to be my age or older, and she'll look back with memories of the afternoon in the Ghibli Mountains that we did yesterday. So that was reluctant. I was a reluctant leader all day long, but I did my duty. I filled my role. I pulled it off. And I am very proud of myself. And if it sounds like I'm being very self-congratulatory, this is my journal video. It's here, my place to be honest with myself. But why did I give myself 4 stars? If it was that good a day, why did I give myself 4 stars rather than 5? Because something subliminal was cautioning. And I'm not cautious to give myself 5. I mean, I will give myself 5. What was it about yesterday that wasn't quite there? I don't know. But I'll let that remain. Something in me is keeping me honest, and I don't know why. Okay, let's move on to the creed. My creed consists of 8 objectives and 35 principles, all of which can be read about, studied if you like, in my book Going Alone, in the chapter titled The Good Life. Like I said at the start, you can find this book at goingalone.org to read for free. If you're a member if you're a Patreon supporter, all of my books are available to read for free. You can download the PDFs on Patreon. The creed consists of the 8 objectives that I am trying to follow every day. These are the things that I'm trying to do every day, which consist of, let's talk about them. The first one is to be always ready to die, which means that I have to have my affairs in good shape, my relationships in good shape, and my life's work in good shape, if not complete. And they are. Check, check, check. I'm ready to die. Definitely ready to die. So I say, right? Who knows what'll happen when it actually comes, and I actually get a little time to think about it. But to the best of my, I'm like a guy that's gotten ready for an earthquake, and I've got all the prepared stuff in the house. I got 2 weeks worth of food and water. I've got the emergency supply. I've got that radio with the batteries. I've got all this stuff. Who knows? And I can tell myself I can feel good and confident that I'm ready for an earthquake. I might devolve into a puddle of wet, snotty tears when the big earthquake comes, right? And my house might fall down. But the best I can do is prepare to the best of my ability. And I think I am prepared for death. I wasn't flipping you off. That was this finger. 2, Second objective is to make good and effective use of time, so I'm not wasting my days. Yesterday was a good use of time. Today, I'll make it a good use as well. 3, I have a plan to. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. That's precisely the work that I do every day in this video to manage my life according to my own values. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions. Very important one, so that I'm reacting well to the challenges that happen to me throughout the day. Not blowing up, not, well, there's 2 ways you can react poorly. You can react too extreme or not react not enough, right? So in the other one, I want to respond in proportion, measured proportion to the assessed severity or importance of the issue at hand. 5 is to perform good actions relative to my creed. 6, and I did one yesterday. There was a couple of them yesterday. Well, one, I rescued a big, giant beetle. You'll see it if you watch the Retiring in Japan upload today. Giant beetle from the pool yesterday. That was amazing. That thing was huge. I put it on my arm. I thought it was going to grab my arm. There was that. A couple of other things happened. Minor little things that happen throughout the day that you have to remember. Make the world a better place. Reduce suffering. Find a way. Number 6 is to recognize my true limits and true opportunities, so that I know what I can and cannot do. Number 7 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully, but just like I'm doing now. And number 8 is to keep my balance in both my mind and my body. This last one, 8, comes automatically of attendance to the prior 7 objectives. If I work on the prior 7 objectives, it yields balance in every way. That's why I put it at the end, because preparing for death, really all you need to do is the first one. Prepare for death, yields balance if I'm prepared for death. But all the rest only enhance it and make it stronger. Okay, let's read a principle. There goes the you can hear the scooter going by with the newspaper guy, but Rudy seems to be okay. He's not getting upset. Yesterday, I read the pilot ride, I think. Yeah. Today I'm going to read the Principle of Maturity, which is on page 257, principle number 10. And the sub-principles of maturity are wisdom, fortitude, and integrity. Because maturity comes of gaining experience and becoming wise, so to speak, having the fortitude to push through to execute the guidance of our wisdom, not only our own wisdom, but the wisdom that we glean from others, and then the integrity to be able to look at the end of the day and say, did I live the day in accordance with my values and how my maturity would offer me to guide me through each step of the day. So maturity is the consequence of being wise, having strength to be to act out in a wise way, to behave and decide in a wise way, and then which yields the integrity at the end of the day of having lived a wise day, and in the end, a wise life. Here we go, the principle of maturity. Maturity is a finely curated collection of experience gained of life trials, both succeeding and failing, and recalled with some accuracy and honest consideration towards improved future ends. The whole damn thing is that one sentence, right? I mean, I summed up the whole, if I do say so myself, the whole principle right there. Maturity is a finely curated collection of experience, right? It's remembering particular experiences that are gained from life trials, both succeeding and failing, from both our successes, life experiences, a curated collection of life experiences from both our successes and our failures, which we then recall with some accuracy. That's the part of the integrity, right? And honest consideration, more integrity, towards improved future ends. Wisdom is the soil where such considerations are plowed. Excuse me. Wisdom is the soil where such considerations are plowed, while fortitude is the will and persistence to see the harvest through, and integrity maintains our sound constitution. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is go over the next 24 hours. Um, Business is good. Business is brisk. You know, if you watch some of these videos from last week, I told you that I want to get a job, that I applied for 2 jobs. I don't think I'm even going to get a call back on those 2 jobs. They're actually jobs in this area, English teaching jobs. And the reason I don't think I'll get it, even though I think I'm well qualified for them, the reason I don't think I'll get a call back is that are looking for full-time employees, and I stated clearly in the cover letter that I'm applying for a part-time position, so I probably don't apply. But um, I'm starting to see that I may not need to do that. I mean, my eBay business is doing really well. I mean, much better than it did. This is the second time for me to start off as an antique dealer, and I'm only, in earnest, like 3 months in, and I'm doing better now than I did after 2 years as an antique dealer before. And the reason is simple. I don't have to relearn those mistakes, right? I don't have to learn to be an antique dealer again. I remember climbing this. That's exactly what it is. I'm climbing Mount Everest for the second time, right? The first time was scary and dangerous, and it took a long time to get to approach the summit. I got bad weather, the bad economy pushed me off the summit. But now I know how to, I've been all the way up to almost to the summit. Um, I'm having an easier climb. Yesterday, and I had some interesting talks. I had an interesting talk with Tatsuya. He and I were in the car together about business, because he's an entrepreneur, and he's making an effort, strong effort, amazing effort, to go on his own as a businessman here in Japan. Amazing effort, and so we had some good talks about that. So I'm good. All I'm going to do today is ship. I've got lots of orders that came through over the weekend, and I'm going to be very busy shipping items. And with that, let's read comments. And I'm going to need to wrap up pretty soon because I got a late start on this, and morning radio Taiso is coming up. Marmighty, good morning, Kurt. I hope you and yours are feeling well. Thank you, we are. Robert, hi Robert. Robert says hi to myself and Marmighty. There's Evelyn. I agree too. I pick up shifts and I definitely have lost my game. And you know, I don't know if you guys saw this. I think it was the day before yesterday or 2 days ago. One of my coworkers, I would call him kind of like a project sponsor kind of guy from my old life, was here. He was actually leaving comments here, and I was like, man, I don't know if I could. Gary is his name, and I was like, man, I wonder if I could, if I could still have it after 6 months. I don't think I could, Evelyn. He's right. Robert says hi to Evelyn. There's Tim. Good morning. Might have mentioned it before, but bizarrely, I noticed a change in body and mind exactly when I hit 60, almost like it's golden number that hits you. But I started to think if it was age thing or retirement thing itself that kicked it off. Tim, same thing happened to me. I think you know, I looked it up, and it seems to be a physiological thing that is it is actually a thing. There's something about it. It doesn't hit it exactly 60 with a lot of people. Like for me, it really started happening in around age 57, and then retirement like pushed it off the edge. So this really does seem to be a thing. And I think the next thing that we need to expect for people like us is about age 65, 66 is when we should expect to see our physical health, our first big, medical issues start to arise about mid 60s. So Tim, if that's the case, you and I have got another, a handful of years of good years. I mean, we'll take what we can with whatever the hell is going on with our minds. But next step up in this unfolding banquet of aging appears to be serious medical issues, which, you and I both know, all of us here, we're all adults here, we both know nothing can spoil a perfect day, and even a slight medical issue. I mean, right? I mean, we can have, so let's get her done. Let's enjoy life all we can right now, right? Evelyn says hi to Robert and everybody else. Tim says hi. Robert says hi to Tim. Tim says, so I'm thinking it is an age thing or a retirement thing. I think it's both, right? Tim says hi to Robert. Peppy, the 64WD. Hi, Robert. Where are you not? Hello, Peppy. Nice to see you here. It's the first time I've seen your name. Welcome. Robert says hi to Peppy. Nice to see you here. Peppy, I hope you don't mind me abbreviating you as Peppy. To Robert, good to see you too. I got this live stream on my YouTube start page. Nice. Well, we're glad to have you here, Peppy. I do this every day at 5:30 a.m. Japan time. Robert says, hi to Peppy. Where else should I be? Was I waiting for Ali for a long time? Is that a Muhammad Ali reference? Robert says to Peppy, nice. I've known Kurt for a very long time. Very long time. I'd say that you and me, Robert, go back, more than 15 years, maybe 18 years. Robert, for those of you who don't know, Robert's one of the original J-Vlog pack. And there's another guy that sometimes comes in here named Sam. Sam is also a member of that group. Old crew that used to make videos about Japan. Peppy says to Robert, I was waiting too. He made today around 4 hours before the start from the live stream a post on because of the engagement from his sister. Maybe that's what he didn't start it. I'm afraid I don't know what that means. Hopefully they had a great time. I think you guys are talking about some sort of an event. Tim says, sometimes I find on the reluctance leader, it's something you dread with failing in sight, but you go to the extra mile and actually excel at it, which is a good feeling in itself. True, good point. And when we were all in this, I think Evelyn and Robert will agree. I know Robert's also in the same club. When we were doing our day to day, I mean, it was like practicing, right? It was like playing, and it was just natural. I think maybe we could still do it if we got back in the game for long enough. Maybe. Peppy says to Robert, cool, I was waiting for Emmy's live stream later. And Robert says, I'll be at Emmy's live stream. Yeah, so you guys are clearly talking about something else altogether that I'm not aware of. That's fine. I just don't know what it is. Peppy says to Robert, I believe so too. Are you in Coffee Sniffers Discord? I am, Peppy. And then thumbs up. Penguin says, nightly weather check, 13.9 C, a lot cooler, and 96 humidity. A few thunderstorms earlier. Let's do our check over here, Tim. You said 13 C, a lot cooler, and 96 humidity. It's really, really cool. 13.9? That's darn, that's pretty cold, chilly. I'm at 25, it looks like, and about almost closing in on 90 C. So you've got 13 C and 96 humidity. That's an interesting combination. I wonder how that feels. Does that feel good? Oh, it's because of the thunderstorms, right? That's got to feel good, huh? That after the thunderstorm weather. Evelyn says the horror show is, yes, exactly, Evelyn. The horror show, for those of you that haven't heard that, that's one of the principles in Going Alone. It talks about, because there's two principles. One is life will not go well, which causes us to just remember that don't expect the day to go without any stumbling points. And the horror show says sometimes life goes really, really bad, to the point that it's like a horror show happening once in a while. I mean, you can go. None of us need me to remind us just how bad things can get. I mean, Evelyn, I know you went through a horror show recently of your own with Mom, and I'm afraid that I've got a horror show brewing with my own mom. It's looking pretty bad. I may wind up going back to America to attend to my mom's and Indian, which I'm afraid will drag on for. Well, I shouldn't say. I don't know how do I say that nicely. I expect will drag on for a long time. That's a long time. Yeah, Peppy says. Robert says, Kurt, Coffee Sniffer is a live streamer from Istanbul, and Emmy's channel is Japanese Emmy channel. Oh, okay. Thanks for explaining. Peppy says, please don't forget to like friends. That's nice. Penguin says, well, cooler now, quite a change. Yeah, well, cooler. But I bet that after thunderstorm weather feels great, Tim. At least until the sun comes out, and then that high humidity is cloying, right? Tim says, due to warm up again later in the week, up to mid-20s, but more trekking beckons. Now it's cooler. Oh, I didn't know you did trekking. That's really cool. I was telling my daughter yesterday, I was saying, because she probably won't come back until August. She's trying to come down to visit every month, and I was telling her, because yesterday we had such a perfect summer day, and I said, when next time you come, we'll feel the waning the waning edge of summer. And she'll be like, it's hot, but it'll be August. And I was like, yeah, but you kind of get that premeditation, that premeditated feel of the next season to come. It's like the fashion shows up, the fall fashions begin to show up on the store shelves at the end of July and start of August. It's like, but it's still summer, yeah. But the world is getting ready for autumn, and the weather does the same thing. So I was kind of thinking that yesterday we were at the river. I was thinking, next time we're up here with Emily, there might be that slight bite of autumn. That it's so subtle you can barely notice it. I think you guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's a thing. So Tim, the cooler weather I think is that you're feeling right now is not that. This is just the after effect of the storm, right? But those autumn days are coming. Okay, well, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. I've got the radio exercise to do. I appreciate everybody joining me. I wish you all the best. It was good to have you join us today, Peppy. Hope to see you again. Be safe but not too safe, everybody, and avoid those horror shows as the best of your ability. In which area are you in Japan, if I can ask? I'm in Shizuoka City, very near Mount Fuji. You're welcome, Robert. You too, Tim. Bye-bye. Bye, Evelyn. Bye, everybody.